Jersey football fans to the South Jersey Football Frenzy Show. Mark Tribble joined as always by Coach Tim McEnany here in an undisclosed location. Studio B on the road this week. We got a great show, Mac. No matter where we are, we got a lot to talk about. South Jersey football about halfway through the regular season. It's crazy to believe.
It is. It's great. Playoffs. I mean, we're going to start talking. Playoffs start last regular season games in October.
Yeah.
So we're going to start having these playoff implication type games that, for seeding purposes. I mean, obviously it was a little colder today, right? It feels like
feels a little bit like October. I
right. Well,
right.
it does feel
Right.
a little like baseball playoff weather. I don't want to go too much. I heard the Phillies were doing well in today's game.
Yeah, against each other.
Against the Phillies. How about 30,000 people going to that?
Inter squad scrimmage. I mean, Philadelphia, the fans are unbelievable.
It's crazy cool. And think about, if you think, I heard the Guardians only had 26,000 at their playoff game. Now, I know it's 1 o'clock, and it is Cleveland, so I don't, but still.
But what else is there to do at 1 o'clock in Cleveland?
Well, that's what I was thinking. So, but cool that this time of year, I like night games at night. I'm weird that way. night
games at night?
I've soapboxed my 6 o'clock start
Yeah.
times, right?
Yeah,
We do want parents to see a lot of these things, right? A lot of parents have jobs.
Yeah.
And jobs last, I mean, people work second and third shift all the time, but by and large, 9 to 5ers, it's tough to get somewhere at 6.
Yeah.
Anyway, and it's not, and now with the daylight savings, I like it. I like a 7 o'clock game when it's dark.
Yeah, and now there's a lot more darkness, right? We're going to fall forward, as you corrected me last week.
We're going to fall back, as I corrected you again. Rob.
Fall forward, spring back.
Fall
we're
back.
Do all of it.
It's fall back. You get an hour.
You get an hour.
Did you learn that in English class?
No, I didn't.
No.
There's a lot of things I didn't learn in English class.
Rod, no science.
No science.
No math.
No math, none of that.
All right. I'll handle the math and science.
I do want to give a shout out to our presenting sponsors, the West Jersey Football Coaches Association, established to promote, improve, and unite football in South Jersey, and they've done just that in less than 4 years. The association created the Battle at the Beach and has donated close to $100,000 and donates to help make this show possible as the presenting sponsor. So thank you to the West Jersey Football Coaches Association for your sponsorship of the show. Also, quick shout out to our buddy Dave O'Sullivan. Go to his website, South Jersey Glory Days. It's sjglorydays.com. If you're watching on Facebook, this is his Facebook page. A lot of good stuff from Sully. We're going to talk about a crazy game Sully saw last week, so stay tuned for that. Mac, I want to talk about my game of the week, though, first. Last week, I went to Del Rand for the first time. I covered a game at Del Rand.
What'd you think?
I'll tell you what, man. It was a great cheeseburger, first off.
They do well. They do a good job there.
Great cheeseburger. Great ambiance. It was nice. It was nice to be there.
Are you the Dave Portnoy of high school stadiums?
I'm really not, because I haven't eaten at concession stands as much this year, trying to get a little healthier. But I will say, I was ready for that cheeseburger, and it delivered at Del Rand. So we've talked in the past years about the walking taco at Winslow. Still probably unsurpassed as my favorite South Jersey concession item, but Del Rand does a good burger.
Maybe it was my age though, but a hot dog and a Pepsi, not a Coke, a Pepsi at Pennsauken High.
Okay.
At halftime, usually hit the spot, as they say. That usually what you would do is I'd hit my dad up for some money as he was walking
off the field.
Off the field.
Off the field.
At halftime. And if they were playing well, he forgot what present he was giving me. If they weren't playing well,
take whatever you want.
If they weren't playing well, you knew you were getting one with a wig.
Well, I'll say this: Burlington Township goes into Del Rand, 2 unbeaten teams. I talked last week about how impressive both have been on the stat sheet in terms of how many points they'd given up, or really points they hadn't given up. Burlington Township stays unbeaten here, 5-0. They win 22-10. Aiden Binns, the running back, was the real deal. 25 carries, 120 yards. On the Del Rand side, Jack Jordan, 15 tackles. Giovanni Marshall Edwards has a 60-yard pick six to start the scoring in the second half, Mac. This is a really weird game. You had a Del Rand drive that had a fake punt. They had a halfback pass. They get down inside the red zone. They had to settle for 3, miss a field goal later in the first half. So At halftime, Burlington Township is winning. I think it was 10-3 or 10-6 or something along those lines. 6-3, actually. I'm sorry. Interception, Giovanni Marshall Edwards to the house. Okay, Delran's in business. They got the lead. They're at home. The next possession for Burlington Township, they do nothing with it. And the punt's partially blocked by yours truly, Jack Jordan. Delran's set up on the 35 going in. Guess what happens, Mac? First play, snap over the head of the quarterback.
Not good.
Kaheem Freeman ends up running in for a touchdown. Other than that, a late touchdown pass from Eddie McNair, the freshman who stood in for Bryce Carter, the starter, who's out right now with an arm injury, should be back for the playoffs. But he hits Gerald Sackey for a touchdown. That was all she wrote. But 4th and 2, the game on the line before this last touchdown, Aiden Binns gets a call. Everybody knows he's getting the ball, gets hit in the backfield, wiggles through, gets a couple yards, gets a first down, and pretty much ends it. But it was tooth and nail. It was a weird game. I think there were some weird games all weekend we're going to talk about.
A couple knots happen, right? I mean, that's what we're seeing.
And Mac, in this one, knots happen on both sides of the ball.
Well, and I mean, you can't say the knot won because they both got their knots.
No, and you have to give a lot of credit to Eddie McNair. This kid's a freshman. He probably weighs, I don't know, it looks like 140 pounds soaking wet, okay? And it has a bright future ahead of him. You can tell right away with the way he slings the thing. First play, 70-yard touchdown pass. You're like, man,
dude can
we see some fireworks tonight.
Right.
Game settles down, right? And, you had a couple plays where you think this close, that close. You have a drive. Burlington Township is really just Binns to the left. Binns, student body Binns, right? He's driving it, throw pass in the red zone. It's intercepted. I don't think Coach Everett was thrilled with the play call. It's just one of those clunky games that happens.
Yeah, look, turnovers. Yeah. We've talked about knots in the last couple of weeks. You talk about ball control. It's interesting when teams decide when they're going to throw or not throw. Yeah. I mean, look, we used to throw a lot in the red zone, believe it or not. I think people can vouch. But you did it off of obviously a play action. You try to pull it off on a first or second, and let's try to grab one here. But then sometimes you just think, let's not outthink ourselves on this one. Yeah. Let's look back on it and say, you're literally in 4-down territory. You're not 4 down, or you're going to kick a field goal to get points. But you get usually in high school, you're not kicking a 55-yarder or 40, even a 45-yarder. You get inside the 30-yard line, it's 4-down territory. So being able to capitalize in that red zone, we talked about that last week. Being able to keep, even if you don't score, keeping it down there. So yeah. And then when sometimes throwing a pick or getting an interception down there, we've all done it. We've all called a play down there that we just wish we had back, and they've worked sometimes, but sometimes you get too cute.
I'd like to think about it in terms of, if you're the other team's defense, what do you not want to see again? And what can you not stop? And if in this case the ball goes in the air, you're probably like, great,
right? Yeah, because you're having problems stopping Binns, and so a little more Binns right, Binns left, Binns right, Binns left,
And I'll say this too about him though, as great as his numbers were, and he didn't end up getting in the end zone, but I could see definitely he's a real deal. Look, he'd run for 12. The next one, loss of 4. The next one, 10. Yeah, the next one, it was like boom or bust because the run blitz basically, and Delran has great defense. But Burlington Township's defense really, at the end of it, Mac, is the story of this game. They didn't give up very much. They did score on defense, albeit, it was a fumbled snap. A couple interceptions. Impressed with the whole unit. They're a defense that, when we talk about the playoffs here in the coming weeks, you're going to know you can rely on that defense. They're athletic. They're fast. They hit hard. They're big. Binns does a lot of heavy lifting, right? Hopefully Carter comes back, and Sackey's caught a bunch of touchdowns. But that defense is what Coach Everett is hanging his hat on. And there's good reason why, man. They're very good.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
why they're undefeated.
Of course. I mean, we talked about last week too, defense. And come playoff time, defense is huge, key. And I think sometimes I think you do, some people don't, but you have to, that offense has to marry your defense. Like you have to be the type of defense you typically play, I'm trying to think, we didn't get many shootouts, right? Like we were a defensive-minded team. We like to run the ball. We like to control the ball.
When you scored a lot, it was because your defense suffocated an opponent that was lesser than you.
Short field punts. Short field punts.
Yeah.
Right, short field.
Yeah,
right,
short
right.
field punts.
Short field punts. Like
or you score on defense, or
it was the greatest thing. I mean, how great is a game when you had kickers? I mean, we were blessed with so many kickers, and even after I left, you had Shank.
Mulville?
Yeah, Mulville
Shank.
had a couple more years after I left, and then you had Shank. I mean, Joe Woj had a couple. I mean, we had a bunch of blessed with kickers. And think about high school, right? You kick the ball in the end zone. Now the ball starts on the 20. You have a suffocating defense, and now that team has to punt from the 20.
Yeah.
Right. So now, I mean, even if they get a net punt of 40 yards, you're starting to drive on your own 40.
Right.
It's a different animal starting a drive on your own 40. I mean, you're a first down or two away from 4-down territory all of a sudden.
It definitely is, Mac. And
that's when you can take your shots too.
Yeah.
Midfield shots. I mean, I wasn't a gunslinging guy who's gonna throw the ball 30 times a game.
Right.
But if you're gonna take your shots, it's usually early downs in midfield. So that type of stuff. I mean, but those defenses marries up typically.
Complementary football. It's easy when schematically you complement each other, right?
If you don't,
approach-wise, you complement each other. Not somebody who runs something on one side of the ball, somebody who's running something drastically different on the other side of the ball.
Well, then you have a problem.
Then
you also have a head coach who's not on the same page with his coaching staff. I mean, then you had other problems because typically, not that everybody needs to have the same. We had guys. Look, we had guys on staff. They wanted to throw the ball, every time we could, right?
Yeah.
And typically they're your receivers coach, right? Mac, we got skinny post, or Mac, So, yes, but typically in the coach's office with the door shut, everybody's philosophically the same on, coming back to sound defense, offense, defense, special teams. So, not to sound boring, but that's what we're seeing wins.
We got a lot to cover from last week, but I want to shout out some of our folks who are in here. And as Rod says, please do share the show if you're watching, because somebody somewhere may want to watch, and their kid or their favorite team may be included. And hey, look, that's always good for us. So Jermaine, Hector, Chris, Walter, Old Faithfuls here in the chat. I know we'll have some more trickle in here as Max says, it gets dark a little bit earlier. We get more people off the practice field that come home. They want to watch the show. Thank you for all your support. Continue to promote it out there and help us out as the South Jersey Football Frenzy show carries on. We were talking before the show. I think this is 8 years Mac and I have worked together on some type of show, and officially this Frenzy show I think is 6 years old. It's time has we've been with Studio B for those 6 years, really, after the first couple of the first half of in conference rooms.
Yeah. Sure.
Time flies, man. Time really flies.
8 years of, hey Mac, what are you doing this Wednesday? Can you?
Come on,
show up and talk high school.
I don't even
football.
have to ask now. I just tell you where to be.
Come in and talk high school football. No problems, no worries.
Thank you, Tracy, for and also you're welcome, Tracy.
I was going to say she probably flips
off
it the
your
other
hands
way.
for a little bit, but we got a lot to cover from last week. We got a big game upcoming this week, a game of the week. We've got to sort out the rankings, and we got some knots of the week also. So stay tuned. The South Jersey Football Frenzy Show will be right back after this. The West Jersey Football Coaches Association was established to promote, improve, and unite football in South Jersey. In less than 4 years, the association created the Battle at the Beach and has dedicated itself to helping others. The association has donated close to $100,000 to date to provide scholarships through the National Football Foundation and the Touchdown Club of Southern New Jersey. The group has also donated to the charity Philly Faces, which helps those in need of facial reconstruction surgery. Thank you to the West Jersey Football Coaches Association for their sponsorship of the South Jersey Football Frenzy Show. The South Jersey Football Frenzy Show is also sponsored by Capstone Medical Services, a dedicated team of experienced healthcare professionals with a strong presence at the youth, middle school, high school, collegiate, and post-collegiate levels. They specialize in athletic training services and sports medicine for youth, high school, collegiate, and adult sports, event EMT and paramedic coverage for events and gatherings of all types and sizes, ensuring everyone's safety, injury prevention and workplace injury programs for commercial and industrial organizations, American Red Cross training, ideal for coaches, youth group leaders, church organizations, businesses of all sizes, and school districts. At Capstone, they are committed to delivering exceptional medical services that exceed expectations. No team will work harder or more passionately for you or your athletes. They proudly serve athletes of all ages, schools, businesses, and event organizers, ensuring the health and safety of every individual in every setting. Whether on the field, at work, or during special events, Capstone's here to protect, support, and serve because your safety is our top priority. To learn how Capstone Medical Services can support your school, organization, or event, call 855-EVENT-CMS or visit capstonemedicalservices.com. The South Jersey Football Frenzy Show is also sponsored by SRA Home Products. South Jersey, let me tell you about my friends over at SRA Home Products. SRA has been building sunrooms, pergolas, and patio covers for over 25 years. They've built more than 9,000 projects in the Delaware Valley alone. And I've had the opportunity to be around Mike Fody, the owner, and I have nothing but the best things to say about Mike and his crew. SRA is a gold accredited member of the Better Business Bureau under the elite provider status with Home Advisor, and they've racked up a number of Best of South Jersey awards in the past. They also contribute to multiple sport associations and are huge supporters of Williamstown football. Find them online at srahomeproducts.com.
Enthusiastic about football? Become a part of the NJFOA South Football Association and team up with us to officiate high school football. Join us on the field. Our cadet class kicks off in March. Register on our website or by scanning the QR code in this ad. Put the stripes on and join us on the gridiron today.
The West Jersey Football Coaches Association was established to promote, improve, and we're back. Welcome back to the South Jersey Football Frenzy Show here with Coach Tim McEnany and Rod Self. We're going to talk about some of the games that happened last week, Mac, as we usually run through these. We go as fast as we can, right? We call this, we don't call it the 2-minute drill, but really it is the 2-minute drill. So,
Well, what's Berman's, the 3?
Up, 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 up. Slowly, they're circling the wagons. Let's start with this thing on Thursday night. Northern Burlington get back in the win column, 31-14.
You didn't grow up as a kid loving that, did you? God.
Christian Hall stumbling, bumbling, rumbling, 2 rush touchdowns for the Greyhounds. Salem beats Shalleck 26-13. Desmond Thomas 11 for 17, 157 and 2 touchdowns. He also ran 11 times for 114 and 2 touchdowns as Salem wins again. Cumberland 37, Middle Township 0. Big night for R.J. Pierce, 19 carries, 158 yards and a touchdown. Eustis 28, Buna 13. Eric Beach threw for 216 and 2 scores, and Delano Mann 8 receptions, 135 and 2 touchdowns. He also had a pick 6. So if this were the Swami, right? If this were Chris Berman, he would say Delano Manfred Mann's Earth Band, right?
Yeah, something like that.
8 for 135 and 2 touchdowns. Cherry Hill East 42, ACIT 0. Ryan Moore ran for a touchdown and caught 1. West Deptford 29, Audubon 0. Zamir Davis 12 touches, 126, 2 touchdowns. Cole Paskowitz 11 carries, 121, 2 touchdowns. Kingsway 45, Eastside 6. Cole DeNick 12 carries, 125 and 3 touchdowns. And that Dragons defense 8 sacks for Kingsway. Win over Eastside.
He's a dude.
He's a dude. He's a lacrosse guy.
I know. He's going to Rutgers. I know.
Right.
He's got to. Congrats to him. We mentioned it early in the season, but he's a heck of a football
Kingsway
player too.
quietly, right? Each week, the last couple weeks, Delsey,
they're just
and
so
then
sound.
Eastside,
I mean,
they're just methodically taking care of business.
And he just does such a great job. I mean, he just, they're just very well coached. He knows how to win games. He knows how to win high school football games. I mean, the game is so slow to him as his mind. We've been on the sidelines. I've been.
Yeah.
Just the calmness, knowing what's happening, 3 steps ahead of most guys on stuff. It's just, Henny's a special guy.
St. Augustine, 17. Mainland, 7. Johnny Chirico runs for a touchdown, and Danny Francis has the game-clinching scoop and score. This was a game where we wondered, what are these teams going to show? It was a Thursday night game. You had a Mainland team that's been up and down in the results. They showed that at their best they can hang with just about anybody. On the other side, St. Augustine showed exactly what they've always showed. That's the defense can carry the day for them. Played well, stood tall when it mattered most, and got that defensive touchdown. That clinched the game in the fourth quarter. Delsey beats Timber Creek 21-6. Milo Gebhardt, 2 passing touchdowns. One was on a back field goal snap. Very headsy play by him. He also ran for a touchdown. And Paulsboro remains unbeaten 26-16 over Overbrook. Malachi McKenzie, 14 carries, 155 and 2 touchdowns. Kyer Harvey ran for 2 scores. Friday night, we had a lot of interesting action. You had RV and Camden. This game we talked about is a game that many people were at, many people kept their eyes on. RV's star quarterback, Savion Adams, did not play in that game. Still a great game, though. Camden wins 8-6. Roman Duckett gets the rushing touchdown, and the defense stands tall in a late 2-point conversion as the Panthers get by the Red Devils. This is one where 2 teams we expect to be talking about late into the postseason here, Mac.
I mean, look, you look at him. I mean, Savion Adams is a different type of player, right? And that's not a shot. But Camden's defense, I mean, if they start making some things happen, not shoot themselves in the foot a little bit, their defense rivals with anyone, and they could, as I say, make some noise. And RV's got a stacked schedule. They're playing teams every week. They've had some good wins, and then Camden, after that tough loss a couple weeks ago, has bounced back and big win at Holy Spirit. And then coming off of that, keeping the emotional high against, and another big win against RV, back like stacking wins, as they say, right?
Yeah, and the 2 journeys of these teams, I mean, from the quarterback perspective, right? Camden was without their current starting quarterback in the beginning of the season due to transfer rules. It was a different team then than it is now. And then when you look at RV, without Adams, a different team now as it was then and maybe down the line. So
right.
2 teams that I think exactly what you look at how they're structured and the way that they've played, they're teams that they've taken a little bit of a journey, right? It's not exactly a straight line.
But, come playoff time, all these bumps and bruises kind of help, the old, I mean, it's very hard to go. I mean, we've seen it, but truly going undefeated, it's really hard to do, especially if you're playing a gauntlet type schedule, and so would you rather, you always say you like winning that last game of the season, right?
Yeah.
And if you're in the playoffs and you win the last one, that means you've done everything you could. So that's what you want to keep doing. Win at the end.
Lower Cape May beat St. Joe Hamilton 31-19. David Douglas 2 rushing touchdowns. Ryan Mallon with a not punt return score. St. Joe Hamilton, interesting week around St. Joe Hamilton and around people connected to St. Joe Hamilton, in that, the first thing is Coach Paul Sacco gets approved, former Coach Paul Sacco, right, the winningest coach in winningest living coach, I think, in South Jersey history. He may, guess he is the winningest.
I think he's
right?
the winningest coach in South Jersey, yeah.
Yeah. He is now joining Holy Spirit's staff.
That's interesting.
Yeah, that's interesting. So
yeah.
Coach Sacco is going over to Holy Spirit. The Spartans announced that this week.
So when he comes into the Spirit coach's office,
yeah,
there's got to be a guy or two that's like, I'm still not saying anything in front of this guy.
Possibly.
I'm not saying anything.
I will say the dynamics.
I'm kidding. I'm teasing.
We used to have the three parochials in the Holy Wars, right? Of St. Augustine, Holy Spirit, and St. Joe.
Correct.
And I will say that St. Joe and Holy Spirit were much more amicable than any of the other combinations.
Right. Augie and
Right,
Spirit,
so,
Augie and Joe. I get it. Yeah.
You know, I think that for Coach Sacco, it's where he wants to be. The staff at Holy Spirit is happy to have him. They've wanted him there.
Of course it is. I'm just teasing.
No,
Yeah.
100%. And then you have Coach Ron Dorsey at St. Joe has announced he'll step down at the end of the season. So, interesting. If you're a St. Joe person through and through, you're a Wildcat through and through, or you went to all those games back when Coach was at Bill Bendag Memorial Field on Saturday mornings or Saturday afternoons, since I know many of you were there and I was there as well. I guess just some mixed feelings this week from them, and after losing Lower Cape May, which is we never thought would have happened during that run. So
yeah, St. Joe's. I mean, for years, obviously doing what they did, all the powers they have, and the folks that know. I mean, it's interestingly enough. I mean, Coach Lancetta is a St. Joe Hamilton grad.
Yeah.
And, talk about some wars back in the day, Hamilton High School versus St. Joe's. And, with Lancetta going to Augie, and, that's familiarity breeds content, as they say.
And that's an excellent segue, Mac, as we call it, because Hamilton is the next team on our list. And
for 8 years I've been doing
Coach Lancetta's brother is the head coach at Hamilton. They lost to Ocean City 14-7. Jackson Becker with a passing touchdown, and Tristan Schmidt, 18 carries, 101 yards, and a touchdown. Pleasantville beat Haddonfield 6-3.
Interesting.
Yeah, not a lot of offense in that.
No, surprisingly. I thought there'd be more points put up, both teams.
Yeah.
But they're both, again, defense,
Defense.
Correct.
Collingswood defense came to play against Haddon Township 36-0. Caden Luby, 15 carries, 208, and a touchdown. Terrence Goffney, a hat trick of rushing touchdowns, 4 calls. Sterling, 55, Gloucester Catholic, 0. Riverside beats Holy Cross 28-21. Terrence Barnes, 16 carries, 218, and a touchdown. Also caught a touchdown. Mac, I think, when he ran those, I think he was holding it high and tight.
Nice. Good job, Terrence.
Cedar Creek, Holy Spirit. This was a wild one. 43-33. The Pirates win. Jameer Campfield, 4 carries, 143 yards, 2 touchdowns. You say, man, he had a big game. Yeah, he did have a big game. But Amir Dunbar had the game of games. I mean, he's kind of like the Derrick Henry of South Jersey running backs. Like,
you don't want to tackle him?
You don't want to tackle him. 32 carries, 293, and 3 touchdowns for the Pirates, who continue to they've just had such a great streak here. They're scoring a lot of points. Coach Melody, we saw them in the opener against a very good team. And since then, they've continued to keep things going. So he's a team to watch there in Group 3. EHT beats Deptford 34-21. Jaden McClellan, 7 receptions, 156 yards, 2 touchdowns. Highland 13, Cherry Hill West 0, Bordentown 24, Maple Shade 0. I know I've got some folks here in the chat talking about Burlington City and their perfect start so far under Coach Caden Booker. We're going to get to them right here. 48-7, they beat Florence. Mason Shanzy, easy day at the office, 13-17, 179, 2 touchdowns. Dante Davis, 10 carries, 126 yards, 2 scores, and a kickoff return for touchdown. Malachi Sadler had 9 catches, 121, 2 scores. Wildwood days, Mac. 25-6 over Palmyra. Jordan Dozier, 3 touchdowns. Oakcrest 26, Absegami 13. Zane Forrest throws for 3 scores. Jaden Harvey caught all 3 of them. Triton 31, Bridgeton 14. Jalen Morris, big game, 2 picks. One of them he ran back for score. John Pettigrew ran for 2 touchdowns, 169 yards. And Mac, the game you were at, the game you're intimately familiar with, going back a long ways, right? You were the coach at Lenape. Your sons played at Shawnee. 42-14, Shawnee takes the Tribe out back. Tyler Nichols, how about this? First, Cole Anderson, 3 rushing touchdowns. But Tyler Nichols, a kickoff return for score, and 2 punt returns for score.
And the last one, we're looking at each other going, are they going to actually let him get his hands on the ball right now? And at the time, the game was kind of already in hand. I think it was 35. I think that was the last touchdown off a punt. And you kind of knew that Tyler, being a senior, was gonna like, I'm gonna, one of those questionable like get away.
Yeah.
Tyler was like, you know what, I'm gonna take a shot and get my hands on it, and I think he went 80 something on it. 3 kick returns in a game. That's don't see that often. And a half. Yeah, because I'm wrong. I think the one I'm talking about was almost going to be his 4th.
Okay.
So he didn't get that one. I apologize. So he had 3.5, and he almost got one at the end. So
at some point,
all-purpose yards.
I'll say
He
this.
had to have 300 some all-purpose yards.
I think Shawnee scored at least 4 times, not on offense this year, right? They had the pick 6 against Camden.
Yeah,
3 in
Bartasius.
this game, so that's 4.
That's 4
So,
at least, right?
I mean, it would be great if someone could send us one of these for Knots of the Week. I don't know who we have to. Like I said, Mac, you got to pull up your phone and
gotta
record
know
all the punts.
Right. I mean, I think people think I'm have some digital prowess, which we know
We know
that's not true. So all I can tell you is, Shawnee played well. That's they got rivalry weeks back to back. They back up with that one with Cherokee. Weird watching Shawnee and Lenape play not on Thanksgiving. I mean, I know that's been now the last 3 or 4 years, but it's still odd.
Yeah.
But it is what it is.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
Speaking of it is what it is. What it is for Dane Cullum is, I mean, a pretty good weekend he had, I'm guessing.
Sure.
10 for 11, 271 yards, 4 touchdowns. He ran for 2 more as the quarterback of Pittman. 51-18 over Mastery. Anthony Tirico had a good game as well. 16-21, 214, 2 scores, ran for another. Brody Phillips ran for $138 and scored as Seneca rolled Gloucester 35-7. They bounced back after losing to Haddonfield the week prior. Pennsville beats Camden Catholic 18-16. Woodstown 9, Pennsgrove 0. A little Salem County battle. Vineland 49, Clearview 6. Washington Township 38, Williamstown 7. Another quasi-rivalry game in the middle of the season. Colin Beeler and Andrew Osborne each ran for touchdown.
What do you mean quasi? That's a rivalry.
Yeah. I mean, I'm talking about like in the middle of the season
Yeah.
rivalry. You expect it at the end, and instead it's just week 4. Clayton 38, Gateway 22. Gabriel Hill runs for 3 scores. One of the wildest games of the weekend, you got to read Sully's story about this on sjgloryadays.com, but Atlantic City 24, Cherokee 20. Let's go through the stats first. Marvin Burrows, 18-28, 291, 2 touchdowns. Dante Thompson, 4 receptions, 138 yards, 2 touchdowns. This game had 3 recovered onside kicks. Cherokee recovered 2 of them because I guess they recovered the first one and then scored inside. Well, let's try it again.
Yeah, let's do it again. Yeah.
AC scores. They're down 8 in the fourth quarter. They score to make it a 2-point game. They don't get the 2 points. It's 20-18. They get the onside kick. They go down and score. They erase a 20-6 deficit, take the lead. Both teams had knots. Ahmad Chambers starts the second half with a 72-yard kick return. And Cherokee had a 68-yard pick 6 from Cooper Birdie. So to your point, Mac, teams that lose with knots often give up knots.
Correct.
And that's the case here with Cherokee. But Cherokee has a completion down inside the red zone as time is ticking down, and they didn't get off a snap as time expired. So it's a heartbreaker for Cherokee. Huge win for Atlantic City. Wild game at the Bowl. 2 Group 5 teams that they met in the playoffs last year. They could very well meet in the playoffs again this year.
Yeah. It is, it is interesting when you talk about turnovers, knots, having, we talked about in prior shows. Typically, when you get a knot, you're going to win a game. Block a kick or whatever. Cherokee throughout the years would steal possessions like this, right, with their onside, surprise onside, and some of that stuff. It's but being able to erase a deficit like that is, that's you need a little bit of help.
Yeah.
You need some help, and Atlantic City got it.
Walter Hurd says the most physical game he's had all season as an official was Washington Township in Winslow on Friday night. I'm not
You mean
surprised.
Washington Township, Williamstown?
Yeah, sorry, Williamstown. Also want to give a shout out to Jay Handy, the interim head coach for Highland, as they got that win. Congratulations, Coach. Keep up the good work. The Tartans 13-0 over the Lions. Saturday, how about this for score? Kip Cooper Academy scored 74. They beat Lindenwold 74-22. Torrey Jones, another guy, had quite a weekend. 3 catches, 144, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, ran one back for 6. Glassboro beats Woodbury 52-14. Jack O'Connell 232 through the air, 5 touchdowns. Mackay Parker caught 2 of the touchdowns. Morristown beats Heights 28-14. Jack Eckert throws for a trio of scores. Lawrence beats Pemberton 49-13. Paul 6 beats Willingboro 27-24. Christian Klecko with 2 fourth-quarter field goals, and including one of them was a 30-yarder to win it. Saucon versus Eastern, 35-28. Saucon wins. Nazir Negron, I hope I pronounced that correctly, 10 of 15, 201, and 3 touchdowns. R.J. Blunt, 27 carries, 177, and a touchdown. And Winslow rolled over Millville in a rematch of last year's state semifinal. Obviously, it's a much different situation this time around.
That's crazy score, right?
Jalen Parker, 18 of 28, 274, 4 touchdowns. Quade Hendricks, 2 catches for score. One of them was an incredible falling backwards catch in the end zone. And Boomer Helton, 5 receptions, 107, 1 touchdown. There's a lot more stats, I'm guessing, that could have come from Winslow. They remain, again, Mac, you always get on me when I spoil this. I'm going to spoil this again. They remain number 1 in South Jersey.
We know. And I'm looking at some of these games. I'm thinking, Rod, are people we're still not tackling in practice, are we?
Yeah, it's a lot.
Not tackling in practice, not tackling
in the game.
Well, I don't want to say people aren't tackling in the game. That's mean. But something tells me as I'll go back to another, as we used to call them, some Hennyisms at our place. Either allowed to do it or taught to do it.
Yeah.
So some of these look like flag football scores.
Well, I'll tell you this. There's a couple teams out there that put up some pretty big numbers every week.
Right.
High-octane offenses.
I get it.
And
there's some talented, and Winslow's one of them. Don't get me wrong.
Oh, yeah.
I just,
But you can book Glassboro for 50 just about every week out so far this year, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And Group 1 isn't what it has been. So
and
the schedule is a little bit lighter, right?
They got talent. They got a lot of talent all over the place. Millville's, growing pains. Like I said last week, I think they're going to be collecting receipts for future because Millville young kids, the programs that are under the high school, they typically year in and year out put out some pretty good football players coming in through the program. So,
if you could go, let me ask you this: if you could go back on ESPN Classic, South Jersey Football Frenzy Show Classic, and watch a game from this weekend that you didn't watch, based off what you just saw here, I think it's got to be that Atlantic City Cherokee game.
Well, yeah, because I heard it was, because how goofy it was. Not
Right.
goofy, but all the backs and forths and this, that, and the other.
Time expires in the red zone. I mean,
yeah, and that's frustrating. You hope you don't know what was he trying to get a couple extra yards? Did he think he could break it? We used to tell kids in our 2-minute drill, where you control the clock. Like at the end, I used to say in the first half, the timeouts are the defensive guy. I said, Coach, you can have the timeouts in the first half. I'm in charge of the timeouts in the second half. Because in the first half, you want to stop the bleeding sometimes. Boom, boom, boom. Second half, you don't want to. Sometimes, but you want to have those 3 at the end, and you want them on defense to call them on defense because on offense you control the clock. You can you can stop it, you can kill it, you can throw out of bounds. First down, stop the clock, to move the chains. There's so many more opportunities at the high school level as opposed to the college and the pro on how the clock stops. The clock stops more. You have more opportunities. And my dad would tell me, another Vince Mac ism, would say, very rarely does the game end on downs. Like, if you think about it, when you're in close games, it's typically the team that wins is taking the knee at the end. You usually run out, my dad would tell me, you typically run out of downs. You don't run out of time, typically. Cherokee ran out of time. Because to your point, I'd like to see it. What happened there at the end? Did they not get out of bounds? Was it too late getting up to spike the ball? Was it a pass downfield that it was one of those, not a Hail Mary, but a one before a Hail Mary?
Well, I'll tell you another another thing, Mac. The end of that. Anybody who stayed up to watch that Packers-Cowboys game on Sunday night, the final play from scrimmage, other than the field goal, was a pass to the back of the end zone by Jordan Love.
If it doesn't get tipped,
that gets tipped and it hits the ground and stops the clock with 1 second left. Really, he's very fortunate it didn't go out of bounds. Clock would have run out and they would have lost the game. Yeah, even in that, you're talking about a professional, one of the 15 best quarterbacks in the NFL. Even in that spot, a little bit lost in the action, or I don't know.
Well, why? Are they yelling kill, kill, kill? I mean, there's obviously a number in their head where they're comfortable getting a playoff in that situation, and they were probably right on it, that 8-second number. Mm-hmm. And I think it was the 9-8 when they got snapped, and in those situations, it's Love has to know, boom, I got to get rid of it. But to your point, if it doesn't get tipped, they might not get the field goal off.
Yeah, it was really, really close. All right, we got some knots of the week, Rod. So where are we starting here? Because we got 4 good ones, very, very good ones. Put it away. Let's see. I'll be able to tell you exactly which one it is. Location, location, location. There's no better location than the football field, but for all your other real estate needs, call Ashley Franchini. Do not make a mistake when you're looking for real estate, folks. Reach out to Ashley at 609-233-6116 or at franchinirealestate.com. Thank you, Ashley, for sponsoring the Knots of the Week. All right. Well,
you're here. You're there.
This was the play that changed the game for Burlington Township. Freeman picks this up on a high snap. This was right after they seemed to be destitute after a partial punt block. This changed everything around and sent Burlington Township to 5-0 on the year. This was the eventual winning score. This was the beginning of the second half where Delran, they go ahead. This is where they take the pick back, 60 yards. So 2 knots, back-to-back scores. Thank you, Dan Wilkins, for sending these along to me.
But think about where we are in the game. You'll probably have to go on. We'll go after you see these knots, because I'm going to tell you, watching a high school game, what's going through my head.
Now, this is Dante Davis of Burlington City. And watch him stay up on this kickoff return.
Boom. Boom. Oh, wow. They stopped playing.
Of course they stopped playing. Everybody thought he was down.
Man, Florence stopped playing.
That's unbelievable.
That is pretty good.
Washington Township here, you got Jair Moore. This fumble is forced by Andrew Osborne, and Jair Moore says, oh, look at that scoop, man. That's a true scoop. Athletic. And a true score. Mac, I got to tell you, man, those are 4 very good knots. I saw 2 of them in person. But Dante Davis staying up.
That was a beautiful run. Great balance. Florence
great balance.
Well, yeah.
And great officiating to not call him down.
Correct. Florence has tackled him to the ground.
Yeah.
Okay, going back to the Delran game. And, this is what I don't want to say, you can look at those situations. Okay, Delran gets the pick 6. Delran goes up 10-6.
Yes.
They're winning the game. They did it with 7 minutes. They did it with 7 minutes left in the third quarter. Burlington Township's pick, scoop and score was like 4 minutes left in the third quarter. So in the time that Delran had their pick 6, Delran kicks the ball off, stops Township on downs, partially blocks a punt, and gets the ball.
Yeah.
And they have all the mojo in the world.
Oh, 100%.
Burlington Township.
The den is rocking at that point.
Correct. It is.
The den is rocking.
And Township has their heads down. You're at the game. I'm not even at the game. I know what's happening. You're at the game. I'm not at the game, but I know what's happening. It's high school. And all Delran at that point, and I know this is why coach is probably like a little bit in the belly hurt. They score there, they win the game.
Yeah, if they don't score, they still punt them down.
If they don't score, they punt them down, and they're in the mojo world. Yeah. Now, I'm not saying Burlington Township still doesn't come back and win.
Well, they got a freshman quarterback who played well, but it would be a defining moment for him to take him down.
Correct. So when Delran scored their pick 6, they had to back it up with, and they did. They backed it up, and they turned the ball over. They got the ball in downs, and then had the partial block punt. So everything was going their way.
I want to call out something about that play, though, Mac, that gets a
one?
little lost in it, the fumble return.
Yes.
And that is the unselfishness of, I don't remember which number it was, but whoever for Burlington Township took care of the quarterback so that his teammate could get the ball.
Yeah.
Because you watch that thing, there is, what would you call them, a flock of falcons coming after that ball. And there's only one guy from Delran, and I'll tell you one thing, it's Vinny Sacca. And he's one of the toughest guys on that field. If you saw the way he run the ball, the only way he wasn't going to have a shot at it is if somebody got rid of him. And that's what happened. And that's the same thing that happened on Jordan Davis's fumble return on the block kick.
Right.
Now, that was the end of the game. But the guy coming off the edge made sure the holder didn't pick up the ball.
Correct.
So that his teammate could get the glory. So that's an unselfish play that obviously Steve, Coach Everett, will showed on. They were in on Saturday morning.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he said, we're here Saturday morning. We're going through film, whatever. So they get there early Saturday morning. And he's calling out whoever that guy is. And he says, you know what? That's what our team is all about.
Well, somebody will let us know who it is so we can talk about the unselfish play. Mind you, as defensive players, anytime you can get your hands on a quarterback, anytime you can kind of put your helmet on a quarterback without the ref throwing the flag a little bit is always
yeah, I would say that's a little bit of a
little bonus.
Yeah.
I didn't get the ball. I didn't get the ball, but I got to hit Vinny. So, it happens.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to thank you again, Ashley Franchini, for your sponsorship of our Knots of the Week. I think the Knots of the Week, people are sending in better ones, and eventually everybody's going to be sending them in. I think we've got some great ones so far this year, and I think it's because,
you're going to have to sift through content.
Yeah, you got to sift through some content. And again, do not make a mistake if you're looking for real estate. Reach out to Ashley Franchini at 609-233-6116. We got a weekend preview ahead. We got a best 11 rankings to go through. The ink isn't even dry on them. I think we're still figuring out that last spot. So stay tuned to the South Jersey Football Frenzy Show. We're also going to talk about Game of the Week. It's a big one. It's one we're used to seeing as a big one, and it finally has come back into the zeitgeist of big games. And is that a big word?
I don't know, but how many times have you seen these two teams play?
Against each other?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Enough, a lot.
Enough.
Yeah,
a lot.
A lot.
Yeah. And they all end up about the same type of game. It's a little bit like there's some other games like that. We'll talk about some other instances of games you could pretty much set your tag to. But you know what's going to happen. So I'm looking forward to a Friday night. We're going to break it all down. So stay tuned right after this, the South Jersey Football Frenzy Show. The West Jersey Football Coaches Association was established to promote, improve, and unite football in South Jersey. In less than 4 years, the association created the Battle at the Beach and has dedicated itself to helping others. The association has donated close to $100,000 to date to provide scholarships through the National Football Foundation and the Touchdown Club of Southern New Jersey. The group has also donated to the charity Philly Faces, which helps those in need of facial reconstruction surgery. Thank you to the West Jersey Football Coaches Association for their sponsorship of the South Jersey Football Frenzy Show. The South Jersey Football Frenzy Show is also sponsored by Capstone Medical Services, a dedicated team of experienced healthcare professionals with a strong presence at the youth, middle school, high school, collegiate, and post-collegiate levels. They specialize in athletic training services and sports medicine for youth, high school, collegiate, and adult sports, event EMT and paramedic coverage for events and gatherings of all types and sizes, ensuring everyone's safety, injury prevention and workplace injury programs for commercial and industrial organizations, American Red Cross training, ideal for coaches, youth group leaders, church organizations, businesses of all sizes, and school districts. At Capstone, they are committed to delivering exceptional medical services that exceed expectations. No team will work harder or more passionately for you or your athletes. They proudly serve athletes of all ages, schools, businesses, and event organizers, ensuring the health and safety of every individual in every setting. Whether on the field, at work, or during special events, Capstone's here to protect, support, and serve because your safety is our top priority. To learn how Capstone Medical Services can support your school, organization, or event, call 855-EVENT-CMS or visit capstonemedicalservices.com. The South Jersey Football Frenzy Show is also sponsored by SRA Home Products. South Jersey, let me tell you about my friends over at SRA Home Products. SRA has been building sunrooms, pergolas, and patio covers for over 25 years. They've built more than 9,000 projects in the Delaware Valley alone. And I've had the opportunity to be around Mike Fody, the owner, and I have nothing but the best things to say about Mike and his crew. SRA is a gold accredited member of the Better Business Bureau under the elite provider status with Home Advisor, and they've racked up a number of Best of South Jersey awards in the past. They also contribute to multiple sport associations and are huge supporters of Williamstown football. Find them online at srahomeproducts.com.
Enthusiastic about football? Become a part of the NJFOA South Football Association and team up with us to officiate high school football. Join us on the field. Our cadet class kicks off in March. Register on our website or by scanning the QR code in this ad. Put the stripes on and join us on the gridiron today.
Welcome back, New Jersey football fans, to South Jersey Football Frenzy Show. We got a lot of folks in here, Burlington Township, Burlington City. I love seeing it. I mean, we're going to talk about that game here in a second, but I mean, these are areas where traditionally, I mean, in years past, we had some support in Burlington Township, but city, I mean, the fans are showing up. They're loud. They're proud. I love that too. So
Undefeated. That, you know, it's 2 undefeated teams. That's a cool thing.
yeah. Let's talk about this weekend's big games. We got Friday at 3 p.m., a rivalry game, Mainland at Ocean City. Two teams, uneven results this year. I think one's 3-2, one's 2-3. I think Mainland, after a heartbreaker last week to St. Augustine, is really going to be locked in. But Ocean City, I mean, this gets no bigger down there in terms of rivalries than Mainland Ocean City.
It's that bridge game, right?
Yeah, I think they turned the bridge, whatever color
The winner,
of the winner.
red or green, I'd assume.
Red or green. Another big rivalry over the years, you mentioned it earlier, Mac, but Cherokee at Shawnee. This is at 6 p.m. on Friday. The Chiefs have won 5 in a row in this series. What's the first thing you think of when you think of Cherokee and Shawnee?
You know, all those district rivals, right? That was being part of that was always so cool.
Yeah.
I play, even though this game is at Cherokee, at Shawnee. Both places I love playing. You know, love coaching at, getting our teams to play at. It's exciting. Always a good turnout. The district, the students, etc. I mean, I was there on, like I said, I was at Lenape on Friday night, and you know, Lenape they had a tough night, right? They lost. The bleachers, the Lenape side was absolutely a cool circus the whole time in a good way. Packed, people having a good time, watching a high school football game. As it should be, right? I mean, yeah, you want your team to win, but you just have high school kids out having a good time. You know, one of the things that, you know, when we got to Lenape and my staff, we said we need to be the best team in the district.
Yeah.
First.
Yeah.
Before we talk about winning championships or winning, you know, we want to be. I mean, one of our internal goals was, like, we couldn't control what the papers said, or right, you know, the old, are we number one, or whatever the rankings are. But we wanted, you know, everybody's goal. You want to win every game, but you know, one of our goals was always win the district games, win the 3 district games, beat Seneca, beat Shawnee, beat Cherokee, and you know, and you know, back in the day, it's almost, you hadn't arrived yet until you beat a Cherokee at Cherokee. By the way. You know, beating Cherokee at Cherokee is just a different animal. You know, beating Shawnee, like, yeah, those are the games that you gotta, you know, you mark, you circle. So, you know, this game, as much as the coaching staff's friendly, respect, admire, all the above, like each other, yeah, you know, they talk, you know, they talk in colors there. It's the blue team, it's the red, yeah, team, it's the orange team, it's the green team back in the day. I mean, you know, And right now, they're playing the orange team this week at Shawnee, and vice versa, playing the blue team. So, asking me what's going to happen, I don't know. Like this game,
You never know in a game
you
like
don't
this,
know in
yeah.
a game like this.
Yeah.
There's always something that goofy. There's always something that kind of rolls the tide. I've seen these games, where a team is. We've had some funky ones with both teams. I've seen. These teams play each other numerous times with both my sons. 3 of my sons playing in these games. So,
Well, I'll say this, Mac. I think the message for both of these teams is the same, and that is, it's still Cherokee.
no, 100%.
Cherokee's saying we're still Cherokee.
Oh,
We
yeah.
still won 5 in a row. Everybody still, they hang their hat on beating us because we're Cherokee.
Correct.
And Shawnee is saying, guys, Tim Gush is saying, don't look at any of this. They're still Cherokee.
Yes.
So that's
that-
going to be the message on both sides,
Well,
right? Guys, we're still Cherokee, and
You do the
I
math.
don't care what the record is. They're still Cherokee.
You do the math. In 5 years, if that serves me correctly, that was my son Freddie's sophomore year. So we're talking 2019, right? That's
Yeah.
the last time that Cherokee has lost to Shawnee. And that was the year Shawnee went on and won the regional thing at Rutgers.
Yeah.
So that's been a long time. I mean, when you got kids walking in the building who've played football for Shawnee who haven't beaten Cherokee yet.
Yeah.
You go through, I don't want to say you can't, but that's the talk. It's got to be. I'm not in the building, but talk's got to be. Look, guys, you've been to high school now. You seniors for 4 years, and you haven't walked off a field after beating the Chiefs. So, and then we all know what's being said over Cherokee. Like, yeah, we can't.
Don't let this streak end on us.
Yeah,
right?
it can't end on us. And
Don't be that guy.
And that's the great thing about the inter-district. I mean, because all these kids hang out with each other, they're friends with each other. We've talked about the proximity to the schools. They go to each other's parties. They see each other. They play other sports all the time. I mean, they're great rivalries within themselves. So it's awesome. It's like a conference within a conference.
Right. Burlington Township, Burlington City. We mentioned it earlier. You got 2 teams that are undefeated. Burlington City has put up some big numbers. You got Shancy. You got Coach Booker's calling things up, drawing things up. Dante Davis, as you saw, one of our knots of the week. A lot of talent on that team. And then, as I mentioned, seeing Burlington Township last week and that defense, the way that they were able to play, overcome some less than great circumstances, and just keep fighting and keep clawing. And Coach Everett, if there's one thing about a Steve Everett coach team, it's that they're going to be tough. And he has made that the calling card for this team as well.
Well, Steve gets it. Steve understands.
He understands because you know what? He's an old school guy.
Right? I think some of the newer schools, not every new school coach doesn't get that you got it. Very rarely does the non-tougher team not win, right? I mean, every once in a while, it's like, how did that happen? Like, you'll watch a game, be like, that doesn't, but typically the more physical team, the team that dominates up front, the team that plays with a motor, that plays with a little bit of edge, that plays with a little bit of anger, gets to the ball, rallies, you walk away going, okay, that was the better football team today.
It's going to be a great game. There's going to be a lot of people at that game. That's at Burlington City. So Wilbur Watts Intermediate School, I think, 6 p.m. Unbeatens, the Falcons, the Blue Devils. Big one. Hopewell Valley at Seneca. Hopewell Valley is not in our coverage area, but Seneca certainly is. They're both 4-1. They played twice last year. Seneca lost 35-12 in the regular season and won 28-25 in the sectional semifinals. This one kicks off at 7:15, so that's interesting. 7:15. Give Hopewell Valley extra 15 minutes to get down there in some way, shape, or form. That game 7:15. So Friday night, you got a handful of good games. It's not as stacked of a slate as we usually see, but some good games. Saturday, if you want to see Winslow at Camden, be at Farnham Park nice and early. The game kicks off at noon. Winslow at Camden. Or if you'd rather go to the other side of town, Pensauken at Eastside at 1 o'clock. And every year we have the same debate of who has the better all-time team, Pensauken or Eastside / Woodrow Wilson. Mac, you've been a part of Pensauken, Woodrow Wilson / Eastside many times.
I grew up we've talked about this. I grew up in the world where I think I've been to more back then Woodrow Wilson games than anybody besides Woodrow Wilson players, coaches, or fans, because we'd see the first half. Pennsauken used to play 1 or 1:30, and we would, I've said this before, that the freshman football team was a different school back then, so we would go see the 9 o'clock freshman game for Pennsauken High.
Yeah.
Watch a half of that. Take off, go watch Wilson play at the East Side, or now called East Side, and because it was the old South Jersey North Conference, Wilson was playing either Cherry East, Chilla West, Camden Catholic, etc., Eustis, Paul VI, somebody who Pennsauken was playing somewhere down the line. So we'd watch the first half of Will. So I've been at that field at 11 o'clock to watch many a game.
Yes.
And seen many a stud player. I can go back to, I know, I stories of Mike Rozier, right? Like, I mean, I've told stories on this, on our show where I was at a game where my brother's playing for Eustis, and everybody in the whole place knows that Mike Rozier's they're down 5, and everybody in the place knows that Mike's going to somehow get the ball, and still manages to run 80 yards for a touchdown against Bishop Butte, because you could have had 11 guys just go tackle Mike, and that was kind of like what was going to happen. So,
well, tell me this, Mac, for all of us out there, those who've seen the rivalry, been a part of it, or you certainly know it as well as anybody inside and out. So I would like you to just sum it up for me. What does Pennsauken versus Eastside / Woodrow Wilson mean?
What's it
mean?
mean?
I mean, there's rivalries where it's just disdain. There's rivalries where it's just loaded players. I mean, I know it had all different types, but you've been there from the ground up. So what does it mean? Sum it up.
It's for the pride. It's for the pride. You got, you want to talk off of 1:30 about who's in charge and who's. Yep. I mean, Rod can speak to it too. I mean, I come from the other side. I come from watching on the Pennsauken side.
See, for living in the city, Camden and Woodrow Wilson / East Side, it's like your brothers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
You get into a little fight here and there. Pennsauken's, that's the cousins. Like so, it's like who's the big cousin and the most important cousin? That's what it ultimately is. Like you love your cousins, but they can't do certain things at your house.
Yeah.
They can't.
And look, I obviously I grew up as a Pennsauken fan, as we know, but Wilson's down closer to this, is in the city.
Mm-hmm.
Pennsauken's up off of 1:30, a little bit, away from a little. There's a little.
It's not the city.
It's not. No, it's certainly not the city.
It is, but it's not.
Right.
So it's
especially where the complex is, right?
Right.
I mean, and look, I remember when Darrell Wilson, Coach Wilson comes back, who played at Pennsauken, played for my dad, and put a whooping on Pennsauken that one time in, I forget what year, 80. It was late 80s, 88, 89 maybe, and I mean, like, that's appropriate, right? The cousins, and many years. I mean, Coach Corby coached Wilson in the 70s, and just a ton of games between those teams, Camden included, of just. I mean, they're all right there on 1:30. It's a pride game, as I said earlier. And there were some pockets there where Pennsauken didn't lose to Wilson for in the 70s and 80s for a while there.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like, I'm tired of hearing about Pennsauken, right? That's Woodrow Wilson. Tired of hearing of Pennsauken.
Well, the other thing is,
and then Steve McBride and all the players, the kids that have come through and before and after that, just a ton of good football players.
I'll say this, like now, like from Camden and Eastside, you go to the field one year, and there's a guy who was coaching at the other school that's there now, right? Or vice versa. Like it feels like every other year there's somebody's on a different sideline. They're wearing purple or orange. I never see that with Pennsauken and those two schools, right? It's like exactly like brothers, right?
Right.
And cousins. So that's it.
Who was it? I think it was a sophomore. It was Michael Hadley, right? Playing quarterback at Wilson. right? I think they were running the triple, and we spend countless hours trying to make sure the pitch, take care of the pitch, take care of. Next thing you know, Hadley's going up the hash. I mean, Hadley's up the hash. You know, if he was still going on, Hadley'd be up the hash. Like the old line, who's got the quarterback?
Yeah. I mean,
oh, we got the pitch taken care of. We got the inside. Like, who's got?
everybody has palms up.
Everybody's like,
palms up.
I didn't think he'd kill us like that.
Whose guy is that?
You know, we were coming up on the corner, right, making sure we took care of the pitch. We got two linebackers taking care of the give.
Right.
You know, and next thing you know, quarterback's in the end zone handing the ball to the ref.
I think this is a cool game this year. I know years before there's been coaches there, but, you know, the coaching staffs represent Pennsauken and the East Side as well.
Right.
You know, you have Tab, and then you have the Brown brothers, and, you know, you have
right, the pride runs deep there too.
Yeah, so the coaches. Yeah.
Clinton's an all-timer at Pennsauken High as a player, all-timer.
Yeah.
And you know, and then been coaching there now. My gosh, he's in his 15th or 16th year at Pennsauken
Long
High.
tenure.
Yep.
I'm going to limit you to a one-word answer on
here we
this
go.
next question because we got to get to the game of the week. But Jason Jambuzzi has a question for you, and he says, Mac, was the 83 Pennsauken team the best? So yes or no?
You mean the 84 team?
Well, he says 83, so you say
No, it was
84.
No, 84.
Okay.
I think he made a mistake in asking it. The 83 team was good with McNair and Mikey Loper, but the 84 team was the one that we talk about with Craigs and Hicks and all those guys, and Timmy Loper and those guys.
Yeah.
All right.
But 83 was also good. So was 82, 81, and 82.
A lot of 80s. 84, Jason.
And 86 and 87. They were a pretty good team. They were pretty good in the 80s.
Game of the week, Mac. Two teams that the rivalry, I mean, let's just call it what it is. The 90s, late 90s, 2000s. Okay, then it perpetuated itself into two teams that you knew if you were going to win South Jersey, Group 2, you either had to beat both of them or one of them was going to win it, essentially. And that's Haddonfield and West Effort. And this game is at West Effort, 7 p.m. on Friday night. West Effort comes in undefeated. Haddonfield coming off a tough loss against Pleasantville 6-3. They had a big win the week before that, beating Seneca 14-11. A special teams play is what scored for Pleasantville in that game. So the defense for Haddonfield's playing great. West Effort's offense is playing great. Haddonfield's won 5 in a row in the series. They won 30-28 last year. And last year, Mac, they had a safety, a punt block out of the end zone, and a Mike Keenan kickoff return. Special teams in the fourth quarter put them in the win column. West Effort did more on the stat sheet overall, but to no avail because they're not. So it's a game where
There's only one stat that matters, right?
that's a W. Yeah. And so Coach Delano, he's got quite a defense, headed down to West Effort, quite an offense. This is a game that the last couple years, even if the score has been close, and I alluded to this in the last segment, you know what you're going to get out of this game, right? It's like when I would cover year in, year out, sometimes twice a year, Penns Grove and Salem. It was like, let's just fast forward this whole game. Salem has the ball at the 10-yard line. They're down by 5. They need a touchdown to win. Let's see if they do it. Some years they did it. Some years they didn't. It's like the NBA. It's like we really don't need to watch the last.
Right. It's either going to be 50.
Game.
It's either going to be 47-42 with 20 seconds left.
Yeah.
Here we are.
Here we are. West Effort Haddonfield very much like that for the most part. You know it's going to be a tough game.
It's
you know
it's one on a kick. It's one on. We should probably have known this, and from 2004 or 5 to 2020, 15 years. Let's call it the Clyde Folsom years. I mean, he was there before then, I know, but like when West Effort got into its heyday, 03-04 to 21-2-3, how many times do you think these teams played? I mean, they're playing once a year and probably another 10 times in the playoffs.
Yeah,
I mean, it was the last game Coach Folsom ever coached was against Haddonfield.
That's right. Haddonfield beat them in the South Jersey final.
Correct.
And Mac, when you think about, you get summer first practice. You go through the lineup back then. You think, okay, here's the team we got. Here's the guys we got back. Here's what they look like from summer, from being down the shore. Here's the guys who've been in the weight room. And the immediate measuring stick is, are we good enough to beat Haddonfield?
can
Or
we
are we
be-
good enough to beat West
Can
Effort
we beat
this
West
year,
Effort?
right?
Can we beat
Like,
Haddonfield? Right. Can we beat West Effort? Can we beat Haddonfield?
What do you think? Like, right, initially, that's like you talked about earlier. You got to find a way to. You had to find a way to beat Cherokee. You had to find a way to beat Shawnee, and these rivalries of like the guy on the block, right?
Right.
For many, many years, that was the top in Group 2. And I mean, now, Camden High's in Group 2. They were in Group 3. They've floated around the group. So it's Cedar Creek was in Group 2. Bo Melton, they won. They went through both schools. Well, they're in Group 3 now. So the teams that have been in Group 2 from the beginning, right, in the modern era, right, and they're always there. And it's going to go through them at some point. If you've won a championship in Group 2, you beat probably one of these schools on the way.
Right. You had to get through West Effort or Haddonfield, or very rarely both, because they were typically on the other side of the brackets of each other. But sometimes you had to play both, and they used to be. I'm going to get slapped in the hand wrist, but they weren't. I'm going to say clash of styles a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Coach Folsom, you knew you had to stop trap, you had to stop belly, you had to stop the wing tip.
Yeah.
I know Coach Emmel has a little more, wings and things-ish, right? Yeah. And Haddonfield was kind of a little more pro set.
Yeah.
A little more, I don't want to say more modern, but they, Coach Delano was doing a little more, couple things in front, it was in front of the curve.
Yes, definitely.
But Haddonfield's defense gave West Effort's offense some problems.
Yeah, defensively,
they gave him some problems.
Yes, no question about it.
And and typically when you have clash of styles, typically that other clash doesn't usually like to play defense. But to Coach Delano's team, they play defense.
Well, and I remember one of the best games I've ever seen in South Jersey was when Haddonfield beat St. Joe, when St. Joe was number 1, at Bill Bendig Memorial Field, and. That game, St. Joe had Jada Byers and a great line and a great team. But Haddonfield had practiced for 15 years for that game.
Correct.
Right?
They knew.
Because they're playing the wing team.
Yeah.
They're like, okay.
Yeah.
And they played it brilliantly. They have for many years. Because, again, to your point of this is who we have to beat, if you're going to win Group 2, you know what you're going to have to stop to do it then. So,
well,
they've absolutely done a great job.
What Haddonfield has done over the years is they would, as they say, they would make West Effort play a little left-handed.
Yeah.
If you're going to play a wing team and you're, again, we're not saying West Effort's line up in traditional 100, 900 wing T stuff. I know it's the evolution, but you still got to stop belly and trap.
Yeah.
You stop belly trap, and then you start expanding. You stop belly trap buck. You stop belly trap buck boot. Belly trap buck boot Sally. You know what I mean? You think, oh, we got this stop. We got buck stop. We got belly stop. Boom, boom. Next thing you know, they sally back the other way, and boom. By the way, Penn State did a little sally. That was one of their that inside handoff off of it. I was like, wow, look at Franklin pulling some wing.
They waited till 2 minutes left in the game.
Yes. So. Again, but to Haddonfield seeing it all the time, knowing that that's who you have to play each week in and week out, and then both teams' discipline on defense. It goes back to the last year. It was by a kickoff return by the Keenan kid, right?
Yeah.
And a punt out of the end zone.
Here's the thing, Colonial Conference, right? Goes back a long ways. Rivalries throughout that. This one was conference. It was Group 2 superiority, and also 2 vastly different places that are not that far apart, and just really, from top to bottom in the fan bases, mutual disdain. So I don't think there's any nicer way to say that.
Mutual disdain.
Mutual disdain.
It is amazing.
Look, it's always a pleasure. I'm glad that it's a game of the week territory here because I missed seeing it the years I hadn't seen it here recently.
It's a must see. I've been to it a couple times just by happenstance. I've been there to go support the coaches. I've been there because There have been milestones that have happened at those games.
Yeah.
And you know, I've actually seen these two teams play probably 5 or 6 times, which while I was coaching.
Yeah.
So it just so happened that, you know, whether it was a bye week or I wanted to get there. You know, Coach Delano knows I'm a little biased. He knows where he understands.
This was his, you know, all the affiliations. That was about as small school you would go see. We're still, we got to get you to Group 1 game.
Well, that's
We'll
true.
get you there. You're
that's
Group
true.
5 guy. Group 4 guy.
Well, and I'm a Clyde Folsom guy.
and
I'm a Clyde Folsom guy, so I would attend some West Effort games.
Best 11 rankings. So
Here we go.
this is, you know, there's only so many times you can juggle things around when you got teams beating teams and losing other teams. I want to give a big apology to right off the bat before we even get into it. I'm gonna give an apology to Burlington Township. They won last week. They dropped a spot this week. That's what I'm saying. I love Burlington Township. They got a big game this week also. It's nothing against Burlington Township. It's just more, hey, look, sometimes things get wacky when we look at these rankings and,
So
and teams that have played each
a
other.
team jumped them.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, it happens.
You want to start at number 11 or number 1?
I like going down to. I like going 11.
You like doing the countdown?
because even though everybody knows who 1 is, so it's really, yeah. Let's start at 11. David Letterman style.
Start at 11. You got the West Effort Eagles shutout Audubon last week, still undefeated, and host Haddonfield in our game of the week at 7 p.m. Friday night. At number 10, Kingsway, they rolled last week 45-6 over East Side. They remain at number 10. Shawnee, they also won. Apologies to them too. They won last week and dropped a spot. They were 8 last week. They're going to drop down to number 9. They have a big one with Cherokee this week. At 8, another team that had a big win but drops down, Cedar Creek. Cedar Creek beat Holy Spirit. Cedar Creek looks great. Cedar Creek's at 8. They were 7 last week. Burlington Township goes to 7 from 6. And at number 5, the team that moved up, or actually moved down, I'm sorry. Number 5 team moved down. It was Rancocas Valley, who was at number 2. They lost 8-6 to the team that moved up to number 4, which is Camden High. Camden High at number 4.
Camden High threw a lot of wrenches in this, right? By losing to Shawnee and then by beating RV. So there's where our pot is tough to stir.
And number 4, Glassboro, they continue to just roll. We know how talented they are. It's hard to ignore teams that are just doing what they're doing. So Glassboro, number 4.
Dudes.
St. Augustine bounces back from their loss against Winslow with a win against Mainland, 17-7. They are number 3. At number 2, Washington Township. Look, they keep doing what they're doing. If you saw that knot that we had in our knots of the week, the defense has been great. Colakino's been great. Beeler's been great running the ball. Washington Township and Rancocas Valley is not this weekend, but next weekend. So that's a big one. And all year it's like RV, Washington Township, RV, Washington Township. Still could be RV, could be Washington Township. I don't know. They're going to play at least one time this season. It'll be week after this weekend. And Winslow at number 1. So here we go. Winslow 1, Washington Township 2, St. Augustine 3, Glassboro 4, Camden 5, Rancocas Valley 6, Burlington Township 7, Cedar Creek 8, Shawnee 9, Kingsway 10, West Effort 11.
Hey, listen, you did your best at putting together the best 11.
We did.
That's what I'm saying. We did our best at putting together. And it doesn't matter. They got to take care of business on the field. Like Haddonfield plays West Effort today.
Well, not today.
I mean, this weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah. Simple. Just win. Just win, baby. That's what.
Thoughts on the Phils briefly? What do you think?
This bye's funky. It is with baseball. I mean, I know you get the rest. It's nice, but you want to keep hot. But they weren't that hot going into this week with the last couple of weeks. I like them. I just Sanchez, Suarez, Luzardo, I think get it done. I think Nola is going to show up for us. Your big stars, your Schwarber, Turner, and Harper have to show up. Because I do think some of the, I think the Bader's, Bader's been a little bit of the secret, the gift, as they say down there.
Bottom of the lineup's hitting better. Pitching, I'm still not. I like Luzardo. I like Sanchez. Ranger, Nola, Bueller, whoever. You don't know what you're getting. That's the thing. I don't want to say I don't think they can do it. I think they can. We've seen these guys pitch great. But you don't know. Ranger was bad his last 2 turns. Nola after the 5th. I don't like the idea of bringing him out of the pen. I don't know if he... Anyway.
Baseball,
it's wide open this year. We can admit that.
Well, baseball's. I mean, we could talk. I mean, baseball is so crazy. I mean, think about it. You go back. How many championships the Braves did not win?
Right. With
their staff and their team, they won the National League East back in the day like 20 straight times, and they only won one World Series or whatever. So,
that's right.
You know, this is the time of year I start watching everybody play baseball, and then you realize. I was texting my nephew. I'm like, the Yankees got Bellinger, right? Like it hit. You don't. Well, you know it, but it doesn't resonate until the playoffs. You're like, you know, when you're like, oh my gosh, if you go Judge, Bellinger, Stanton, and then you look at Ohtani.
Well, Goldschmidt hits the front.
That's what I mean. Yeah. And then you look and then you look at the Dodgers last night. You got Betts, Ohtani, and you got all-timer Freddie Freeman.
Freddie Freeman.
Yeah. I mean,
and Teoscar.
Teoscar. So, it is as every year. It's prediction. This is you got to this Dodger series is going to be.
Yeah.
You got to get into the Dodgers bullpen.
So stay tuned, guys.
Dodgers bullpen.
If the Phillies are on in this time slot, you never know if things have to change around or how we do it. I want to thank everybody here in the comments, especially Chris Baker, who's going to be at that Shawnee game. So you got to say hi on Friday night. But Chris, thank you as always for pulling together the stats. Chris and Kevin Evans, who I had the joy of spending the Delran Burlington Township game with last Friday night. That was even better than the cheeseburger. So that was great. They had By the Numbers episode last night. Be sure to watch that on D2 Sports Network. If you're watching this on YouTube, it is on there. Thank you, as always, to Rod Self and the D2 Sports Network. And putting us up in this studio tonight. Studio B goes on the road. Everything's great, as always.
No rainouts.
Can't recommend anybody any more than Rod, who's been with us for a number of years here, no matter... Sometimes he even plays through injury, man.
Absolutely.
Sometimes he even plays through injury.
We
won't. So everybody enjoy the baseball, enjoy the football. Birds had another knot last weekend. You like that? I know you like that. You even text me during the game.
That right? They got to figure. It's too bad it's pros, right? Because they got. I feel bad for AJ. I do. Yeah. I mean, the high school coach in me is like, just win, baby. But I get
squeaky wheel, man.
Yeah,
he's gonna have a good game.
He had 9, but he did have 9 targets.
Yeah.
I wonder if
how many?
He's in his head.
Is he tweaked? Is he tweaked?
Yeah, I think he's in his own head. I think he's dealing with an injury, or trying to get back. Like, I'm just watching the games. I'm not seeing much separation, things like that. So,
but like when you line up and you got a press coverage with a safety over top.
How much can
what are you going to do?
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Then, AJ, what? I mean,
and it's not. But in that situation, it's not like he can just outrun him like he used to.
Correct.
He's not that guy anymore.
That's what I mean.
You know what I mean?
And what you can't. It's not high school. You can't just go. Let's run a jet sweep.
Yeah.
Here's my take.
Or a tunnel screen on, like, you know.
Here's my question. That little play where you flip the ball underhand to Goddard.
Yeah.
There's 7 guys blocking. Why couldn't you run that for AJ Brown?
AJ doesn't want to run that.
Okay, well.
I don't think he would. I wouldn't want AJ.
I'm sure he likes the touchdown.
I know he does, but I wouldn't want him in that crap. I don't know.
Either way.
That's my opinion. I don't want him in that.
With the Birds, our guys doing well. Jihad,
oh, he's great.
Forced fumble, interception.
He is good.
You know?
He's good. He's fun to watch. Even if you're not a Jihad fan, like me in South Jersey, if you're just watching the rookie and you're like, wow, and then you're like, he's in our backyard.
Right, and right now he's on pace to be the defensive rookie of the year.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt. It's great that he got back and healthy and he's good to go.
How about Bama, Georgia on Saturday night, where Kirk Herbstreit circles Brooks on the telestrator and says, Brooks, true freshman, watch this kid.
Yeah, watch this guy.
Pretty cool.
Yeah. That was pretty neat.
No doubt.
And he had a couple of nice catches.
Right, you got Bama winning at Georgia. You got Oregon winning at
that was a really good game.
I had that on multi-view, man.
Yeah,
Same
that was a
time.
good game.
Perfect.
Same.
Yeah, that was nice.
Man, NCAA just doesn't stop. Doesn't stop. Freddie says to me, Dad, when you're out watching it, or when you're watching, it's UCLA playing Indiana in a couple weeks. I'll be out there watching it. And he goes, Dad, you know, if the Phils go, that's game 2 of the World Series. You think they'll move games around based on the World? I say NCAA football doesn't. They don't move nothing. So I go, they're going to put it where they want to put it.
Yeah, because they know they're going to get the viewership.
It's up your multi-view screen now. It's almost like you need an 8-box instead of a 4-box. You got everything going on. It's unbelievable. Anyway, well, aren't we over our time?
Well, luckily we don't have any competition. So thank you everybody for watching. We'll be back next week at some point in time. We'll let you know when. If you don't hear anything else, it'll be Wednesday at 7 p.m. For Rod Self, Studio B, Coach McEnany, Mark Tribble, go Phils. Thank you for watching the South Jersey Football Frenzy Show.
Good stuff.